Weird human glitches. Why your brain hates being happy. Let's get right into it. Number 1. The uncanny valley of joy. Imagine you're having the absolute perfect day. The sun is shining just right. You snagged the last slice of your favorite pizza. And your boss just told you to take the rest of the day off. Life is good. Too good. Maybe. Because right about now, your brain is starting to get a little twitchy. It's not just you, it's a universal human glitch. We have this bizarre, subconscious aversion to uninterrupted happiness. We get so used to the background hum of low-level stress and minor inconveniences that when it disappears, it feels wrong. Our brains are like those old, finicky TVs that need a little static to get the picture just right. Without it, the signal feels too clean, too perfect, and we start to get suspicious. This isn't just some weird, modern-day anxiety. We evolved this way. Our ancestors who were a little paranoid, a little on edge even when things were good, were the ones who survived. The overly relaxed caveman who didn't worry about the lack of saber-toothed tigers around the corner was probably a saber-toothed tiger's dinner. So, our brains learned to be skeptical of perpetual sunshine. It's this weird mental paradox where we crave happiness. But when we get it, a small part of our brain starts whispering, "This isn't real. Something is about to go terribly wrong." It's like our nervous system is a method actor, and it refuses to break character. Number 2. The hedonic treadmill. You finally got that promotion, bought that new gadget, or went on that dream vacation. For a glorious, fleeting moment, you're on top of the world. But then, almost as quickly as it arrived, that intense feeling of joy starts to fade, and you find yourself already looking for the asterisk next thing that will make you happy. This, my friends, is the asterisk hedonic treadmill, and your brain is an absolute master at forcing you onto it. It's a psychological phenomenon where, no matter how good something feels, your brain quickly adapts to that new level of happiness, and it becomes your new normal. To feel that same initial surge of joy, you need something more, something better. It's like your brain has an internal thermostat for happiness, and once it hits a certain temperature, it automatically adjusts downwards, forcing you to crank up the heat with new experiences or possessions. Evolutionarily, this makes sense. If our ancestors were perpetually content, they might not have been motivated to find new food sources or build better shelters. Constant striving was a survival mechanism. But in modern life, it means your brain is perpetually chasing the dragon of satisfaction, ensuring that true, lasting contentment is always just out of reach. It's a cruel irony. Your brain wants happiness, but it hates staying happy with what it already has. Number 3. The negativity bias. You've just had a truly fantastic day. The sun was shining, your coffee was perfect, and you even found a $20 bill in an old coat pocket. Then, someone cuts you off in traffic. Just one little thing. And what does your brain obsess over for the next 3 hours? Not the perfect coffee, not the found money, but that one rude driver. Welcome to the wonderful world of negativity bias, where your brain acts like a tiny, highly efficient magnet for bad news. It's like your internal alarm system is stuck on highly sensitive mode, constantly scanning for threats, real or imagined. This isn't some masochistic desire to dwell on the dismal. It's another one of evolution's helpful little quirks. Back when saber-toothed tigers roamed the earth, remembering that one time you almost got eaten was far more beneficial for your survival than remembering how good that berry tasted. So, your brain became hardwired to give negative experiences more weight, more processing power, and more memory real estate. It's why one scathing comment can overshadow 100 compliments, or why a single bad review can sting more than a dozen glowing ones feel good. Your brain is essentially a drama queen, always ready to spotlight the villains and ignore the feel-good ensemble cast. Number 4. The existential dread loop. You're finally sitting down after a long day, perhaps with a cup of tea or your beverage of choice, ready to unwind, and then, out of absolutely nowhere, your brain decides it's the perfect time to ponder the vast emptiness of the universe. Your impending mortality, or that embarrassing thing you said in 3rd grade. Why does your brain insist on dropping these existential bombs precisely when you're trying to relax? It's not just a personal quirk, it's your brain's weird way of trying to solve problems. Even when there are no immediate problems to solve, when your brain isn't actively engaged in external stimuli or immediate tasks. Its default mode network kicks in. This is the brain's idle state, and it loves to wander. Unfortunately, for many of us, wandering often means replaying past regrets or fast-forwarding to future anxieties. It's like your internal supercomputer, designed for complex calculations, gets bored and starts running diagnostic tests on your entire life, often flagging things as critical errors that are, in reality, just normal human experiences. Your brain isn't being malicious, it's being efficient. It sees downtime as an opportunity to review and prepare. The problem is, it often prepares for the worst. Because, evolutionarily speaking, preparing for danger was always more important than preparing for a really good nap. So, your brain isn't sabotaging your peace, it's just trying to be a diligent, albeit overly dramatic, personal assistant. Number 5. The decision fatigue drain. You've just spent an hour in the grocery store agonizing over which brand of cereal to buy. Then another 30 minutes debating between different shades of white paint. By the time you get home, the thought of deciding what to have for dinner feels like climbing Mount Everest. This isn't just you being indecisive, it's decision fatigue. And it's your brain's way of saying, I'm done. No more choices for today. Thank you very much. Every decision, no matter how small, consumes mental energy. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive functions like decision-making, has a finite pool of resources. And when that pool is depleted, your brain starts looking for shortcuts. This can manifest as impulsivity, just picking anything to get it over with, avoidance, deferring the decision entirely, or plain old mental exhaustion. It's why highly successful people often wear the same clothes every day or eat the same breakfast. They're consciously reducing the number of trivial decisions they have to make to conserve mental energy for the big ones. Your brain isn't inherently lazy, it's just trying to optimize its energy expenditure. But sometimes, its optimization strategy leads to you staring blankly at your fridge, utterly incapable of choosing between leftover pizza and instant noodles. Your brain hates being overloaded with choices, preferring to conserve its precious decision-making power for when it really counts. Number 6. The should have said replay. You're lying in bed, hours after a conversation, and suddenly your brain decides it's prime time for a cinematic replay of everything you should have said. That witty comeback you thought of 5 minutes too late. The brilliant argument that would have shut down your opponent. The perfectly calibrated apology that would have smoothed everything over. Your brain isn't just being a jerk, it's engaging in counterfactual thinking. Specifically what psychologists call upward counterfactuals. It's basically your brain conducting an infinite number of what-if scenarios, trying to revise history to a more favorable outcome. This obsessive replaying of past interactions, particularly focusing on missed opportunities for eloquence or assertiveness, serves a few bizarre purposes. 1. It's a learning mechanism. Your brain is trying to train itself for future similar situations, albeit in the most annoying way possible. 2. It's a form of regret processing, trying to make sense of why things didn't go as planned. And 3. It's often fueled by a desire for control. If you can mentally fix a past interaction, it gives your brain a false sense of mastery over uncontrollable social dynamics. It's like your brain is a director constantly re-editing a movie, convinced that if it just tweaks that one line, the whole narrative will be perfect. Meanwhile, you're just trying to get some sleep. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.